On April 11, 1970, the Apollo 13 mission was launched. It was intended to be NASA's third mission to land astronauts on the Moon. However, what began as a routine space mission quickly turned into a life-or-death struggle in the harsh environment of outer space. This video will delve into the Apollo 13 mission in detail, exploring its background, the fateful incident that occurred, the challenges faced by the astronauts and ground control, and the heroic efforts that ultimately brought the crew safely back to Earth. So, let's start. The Apollo 13 mission was part of NASA's Apollo program, a series of crewed missions with the goal of landing astronauts on the Moon and safely returning them to Earth. Apollo 11 had successfully achieved this goal in July 1969, with astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin becoming the first humans to walk on the lunar surface. Apollo 12 followed suit in November 1969. The American public and the world had become somewhat accustomed to lunar missions by this point, and Apollo 13 was expected to be another historic step forward. The crew selected for Apollo 13 consisted of 3 experienced astronauts: Commander James L. Lovell Jr., Command Module Pilot John L. Swigert Jr., and Lunar Module Pilot Fred W. Haise Jr. Apollo 13 lifted off from Kennedy Space Center in Florida on April 11, 1970. The launch proceeded smoothly, and the spacecraft, consisting of the Command Module Odyssey and the Lunar Module Aquarius, successfully entered Earth's orbit. The plan was to use the Saturn V rocket's third stage to propel the spacecraft towards the Moon. As the crew settled into their journey, they conducted routine tasks and reported on their spacecraft systems. On April 13, as Apollo 13 was approximately 200,000 miles from Earth and 55 hours into the mission, the crew prepared for a routine procedure, a routine stirring of the spacecraft's cryogenic oxygen tanks. This was necessary to prevent the liquid oxygen from stratifying and potentially causing problems during re-entry. At 55 hours, 55 minutes, and 5 seconds into the mission, a disaster struck. Jack Swigert, who was responsible for initiating the tank stir, flipped the switch to activate the fans inside one of the 2 cryogenic oxygen tanks. Within seconds, there was an explosion in the service module. Swigert's famous words at that moment, "Houston, we've had a problem," were a calm understatement of the crisis unfolding. The explosion ruptured one of the service module's oxygen tanks, leading to a cascade of problems. The electrical power supply for the command module was damaged, the normal supply of drinkable water was lost, and, most critically, the mission's supply of oxygen for breathing and propulsion was severely compromised. Mission Control's Gene Kranz quickly recognized the gravity of the situation and declared it a go for abort. The lunar landing was canceled, and the immediate focus shifted to getting the crew safely back to Earth. Apollo 13's lunar module, Aquarius, was designed for a completely different purpose, which was to carry astronauts from lunar orbit to the lunar surface and back. It was never intended to serve as a lifeboat for the crew in the vacuum of space, but it would have to do just that. The first priority was to power up the lunar module. It was powered down and not fully configured for the demands of a long stay in space. The crew had to work with ground control to develop procedures for conserving power, water, and other vital resources. They had to jury-rig a way to remove carbon dioxide from the cabin atmosphere since the command module's carbon dioxide scrubbers were incompatible with the lunar module. The Odyssey's instruments were gradually powered down to conserve the limited electrical power available, and the crew settled into the cramped quarters of Aquarius. The lunar module, designed for 2 astronauts for 2 days, would now serve as a lifeboat for 3 astronauts for 4 days. With the lunar module serving as their lifeboat, the crew and ground control faced numerous challenges. They needed to execute a free return trajectory, a precise flight path that would enable the spacecraft to swing around the Moon and return to Earth without the need for additional propulsion. This was essential because the lunar module didn't have enough fuel for a direct return. Calculations had to be made with extreme precision, using the lunar module's descent engine to adjust their trajectory for the return journey. Meanwhile, on Earth, NASA engineers and scientists worked around the clock to devise solutions to the myriad problems Apollo 13 faced. They had to figure out how to power up the command module with its damaged systems, how to restart its systems without causing further issues, and how to develop and communicate new procedures to the astronauts in real time. One of the most critical moments in the journey came when it was time to perform a critical engine burn to adjust their trajectory for re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. This burn was crucial to ensure they hit their narrow re-entry corridor. A tiny error could result in the spacecraft either bouncing off Earth's atmosphere and into deep space or burning up upon re-entry. At 139 hours, 8 minutes into the mission, the engine burn was executed. The burn was successful, and Apollo 13 swung around the moon, heading back toward Earth. The lunar gravity assist had worked, and the spacecraft was on a course for home. The final leg of Apollo 13's journey was re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. The crew had to make sure their re-entry angle was precise to avoid bouncing off the atmosphere or re-entering at too steep an angle and burning up. On April 17, 1970, at 142 hours and 54 minutes into the mission, Apollo 13 re-entered Earth's atmosphere. As they descended, communications were lost due to the intense heat and plasma surrounding the spacecraft. For a few agonizing minutes, mission control and the world waited in silence. Then, at 143 hours, 2 minutes, and 45 seconds, the crew regained contact, and the parachutes deployed. Apollo 13 splashed down safely in the Pacific Ocean at 143 hours, 24 minutes, and 14 seconds into the mission. The crew was safely recovered by the USS Iwo Jima. Apollo 13's safe return was a testament to human ingenuity, determination, and the power of teamwork. It demonstrated the extraordinary capabilities of astronauts and the people on the ground who supported them. The mission was ultimately a success, not in the original sense of landing on the moon but in the sense of bringing the crew home alive. The lessons learned from Apollo 13 had a lasting impact on NASA and space exploration. They led to improvements in spacecraft design, procedures, and training to better prepare for and respond to emergencies in space. In conclusion, the Apollo 13 mission, often referred to as a successful failure, is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. It's a story of quick thinking, collaboration, and determination that turned a potential catastrophe into a triumph of science and engineering. Apollo 13 remains a shining example of what can be achieved when the stakes are highest and when the entire world comes together to support a daring mission to the stars. Thanks a lot for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to our channel. We will see you in the next one. Till then, bye!